The man who disappeared and reappeared 27 years later. It was an ordinary morning when a man left his home and never returned. There was no goodbye message, no phone call, no explanation. At first, his family believed that something terrible must have happened. Perhaps he had been involved in an accident. Perhaps he had become the victim of a crime. But days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and eventually months turned into years. The police searched for clues. Friends and family members were questioned. Investigators examined his last known movements and tried to reconstruct the final hours before his disappearance, but they found almost nothing. It was as if the man had simply vanished. As the years passed, hope slowly began to disappear. His family had no idea whether he was alive or dead. Every unanswered question made the situation even more painful. Eventually, the case became cold. Years passed, and then something happened that nobody expected. 27 years after the man disappeared, a new clue suddenly emerged. Someone claimed to have seen a man in another city who looked remarkably similar to the missing person. At first, nobody took the information seriously. After all, how could a man who had disappeared nearly 3 decades earlier suddenly be alive? But investigators decided to take another look. Old case files were reopened. Photographs were compared. Details that had been forgotten for decades were examined once again. And slowly, an incredible possibility began to emerge. Could this really be him? The investigation continued. Then came the shocking discovery. The missing man was alive. For 27 years, nobody had known where he was. But his reappearance created even more questions than his disappearance. Where had he been all those years? Why had he never contacted his family? Had he deliberately disappeared, or was there another explanation? For the people who knew him, the discovery was almost impossible to believe. His family experienced a mixture of emotions. There was relief, there was shock, and there were decades of unanswered questions. For 27 years, they had lived without knowing what had happened to him. They had imagined countless possibilities. They had feared the worst. And now, suddenly, the man they believed they might never see again had returned. But even after his identity was confirmed, one mystery remained. What really happened during those 27 years? Why did he leave his old life behind? Was his disappearance carefully planned, or did something happen that forced him to disappear? Some questions may never be fully answered, but his story is a reminder that even the oldest mysteries can sometimes take an unexpected turn. Because sometimes people do not disappear forever. Sometimes, after years of silence, they suddenly return.